Okay, so imagine like rewriting the code of life, unlocking crazy computational power and powering our civilization with, just like the endless resources of nature.
Yeah.
And these aren't like sci-fi fantasies or anything.
Right.
These are like real possibilities like bubbling up from, cutting edge research.
Yeah.
So welcome to the deep dive.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to plunge into next gen scientific breakthroughs.
Yeah.
The kind that are poised to like redefine our future in tech medicine and how we, deal with our planet.
It really does feel like we're, I don't know, like on the edge of something really remarkable.
Yeah.
The pace of discovery is like accelerating, and
Yeah.
we're seeing all these seemingly different fields start to intersect, and it's really fascinating.
Oh, absolutely.
So for you, our listener who's really wants to understand what's next, uh, this deep dive is all about like unpacking the most promising areas of, transformation and change.
Okay, let's get right to it.
Right.
One area that has just like fundamentally changed how we understand biology is CRISPR gene editing.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you who are tracking this, it's moved way beyond just theory.
Totally.
What's like the core breakthrough here
Yeah.
that has everyone in the scientific community so excited?
So at its heart, CRISPR is like a revolutionary genetic tool
Okay.
that gives us this like crazy precision in modifying DNA. Like think about it, like finding one word in a whole library of human genetic code
Yeah.
and being able to just like, change its spelling with like amazing accuracy.
Wow.
And what Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier did is they unlocked this system that is not only super precise,
Right.
but also like relatively accessible,
Yeah.
which has really like democratized genetic research in a way we haven't seen before.
And this isn't just about like scientists messing around in a lab, right?
No, no,
They're
no.
talking about real impact here.
Yeah.
That could be life-changing.
Right.
Can you give us a tangible example of how CRISPR is going from like possibility to reality?
Absolutely. We're seeing huge strides in using CRISPR to actually target the root causes of like genetic disorders.
Yeah.
So for instance, there's promising research using CRISPR to edit the gene that causes sickle cell disease.
Right.
And that could potentially cure it permanently
Wow.
instead of, just dealing with the symptoms.
Right.
But beyond human health, CRISPR is being used in agriculture in really innovative ways.
Oh, wow.
Imagine like engineering crops to be like naturally resistant to pests and diseases.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you reduce the need for, harmful chemicals, and you can potentially boost food production
Right.
in places facing shortages.
Yeah.
That's a direct link to solving these huge global challenges.
That's a really powerful example. Moving from the microscopic to something that almost sounds like magic.
Right.
Quantum computing.
Okay.
For those hearing about this for the first time and like scratching their heads, what's the fundamental leap in capability that quantum computing offers?
So the big leap comes from like harnessing the rules of quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
Now, unlike the computers we use every day that store information as bits,
Right.
zeros or ones,
Yeah.
quantum computers use these things called qubits.
Okay.
And they can exist in a superposition of states.
Okay.
So they can be both 0 and 1 at the same time.
So they can be both.
It's like a light switch that's both on and off
Oh, wow.
until you look at it.
Okay.
This, along with this other thing called entanglement, lets quantum computers do calculations like way faster than regular computers.
Wow.
Think of trying to get through a maze.
Okay.
A regular computer tries each path one by one,
Right.
but a quantum computer checks all paths at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And pioneers like John Preskill and teams at Google's Quantum AI are making progress in building these super complex machines.
So it's not just about speed then.
Yeah.
It's about tackling problems that are impossible for even our best supercomputers.
Exactly.
What breakthroughs could this unlock?
Okay, so one area where quantum computing will be huge is in cryptography.
Okay.
Current encryption methods rely on math problems
Hmm.
that are like way too hard for normal computers to solve quickly.
Right.
But a powerful enough quantum computer could crack these encryptions,
Wow.
which means we need to develop quantum-resistant cryptography like now.
Yeah, that sounds important.
But on a more positive note, quantum computing could really speed up drug discovery
Okay.
by letting us simulate how molecules interact like super accurately,
Oh, wow.
leading to like fast development of new medicines.
That's great.
We could also see breakthroughs in materials,
Yeah.
science, logistics, and even AI itself.
So the possibilities are really endless.
It's transformative across so many fields.
It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new computational revolution.
Yeah.
Shifting gears now to the planet we live on.
Okay.
Another crucial area for breakthroughs is renewable energy technologies.
Absolutely.
So for those of you worried about climate change, what are some of the most promising innovations on the horizon?
Well, tackling climate change requires some serious innovation in how we get and store energy.
Right.
Two really exciting areas are perovskite solar cells and advances in battery storage.
Okay.
Perovskite solar cells are like a new type of solar material
Yeah.
that could be way cheaper and easier to make than traditional silicon solar cells.
Wow.
But they can still be just as or even more efficient.
So better and cheaper.
Researchers like Henry Snaith have been really important in developing this technology.
Okay, cool.
And of course, storing renewable energy is just as important as making it.
Right.
The progress in battery tech driven by people like Elon Musk is giving us batteries with higher energy density, faster charging, and longer lifespans.
That's great.
This makes large-scale energy storage more realistic and paves the way for a more stable grid powered by renewables.
So these aren't just like small improvements.
Right.
This has the potential to really change the energy landscape.
Perovskite solar cells, with their potential for cheap production and versatility, could really make solar energy even more accessible.
Oh, wow.
So more people, more places can use it.
Yeah.
And better battery storage is key to solving the problem of solar and wind power not always being available.
Right.
You know, when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing.
Yeah.
It lets us truly move away from relying on fossil fuels and create a sustainable energy system.
It's really exciting to think about.
It is.
We've talked about some of the big game-changing fields, but science can be unpredictable.
Absolutely.
So what are some of those quirky, less talked about discoveries that are still really interesting?
Science is full of surprises.
Yeah, it really is.
One that I find fascinating is the discovery of bacteria that can break down plastic.
What?
Yeah, certain types of plastic.
Yeah.
You know, we have this massive problem with plastic pollution.
It's a huge problem.
And the fact that nature might have an answer is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Researchers are looking at how these bacteria do it and trying to figure out if we can use that to deal with all the plastic waste.
That's like nature-inspiring innovation.
Right.
What's another surprising finding that's caught your eye?
Another cool area is the development of artificial leaves.
Artificial leaves.
Yeah, basically devices that copy photosynthesis.
What?
They use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to make energy,
Wow.
usually in the form of hydrogen fuel.
Okay.
This is great because it means we could produce energy in a sustainable way, even in places with limited resources.
Wow, that's incredible.
It shows how clever humans can be, you know, taking inspiration from nature to find new solutions.
It's amazing how scientists are drawing inspiration from the natural world.
Yeah.
Let's turn our attention to space now.
Okay.
What's new in astrobiology and the search for life beyond Earth?
Well, astrobiology always pushes the limits of what we know about life.
Right.
One recent finding that caused a lot of buzz was the detection of phosphine gas in the atmosphere of Venus. Now, this doesn't definitively prove there's life there,
Right.
but on Earth, phosphine is usually linked to living things.
Okay.
This discovery has really brought back the discussion about life existing in places we thought were impossible.
Yeah.
And it shows how much we still have to learn about where life can survive.
It really makes you think.
Challenges everything we thought we knew.
Venus, a place we always considered completely hostile,
Yeah,
it really opens up the possibilities.
absolutely.
So for our listeners out there who are feeling inspired by these incredible discoveries
Yeah.
and thinking about a career in science, what advice would you give them?
Well, the most important thing is to never lose that curiosity.
That's so true.
Never stop asking why and how.
Right.
That's what drives scientific progress.
What practical steps can someone take to follow that curiosity?
A strong foundation in the basic sciences like biology, chemistry, physics, or math is essential.
Makes sense.
It gives you the tools to explore more deeply.
Yeah.
Also look for chances to collaborate with others. Science is a team effort, and different perspectives lead to better results.
Collaboration and a solid foundation.
Exactly.
How can aspiring scientists keep up in such a fast-changing field?
Staying informed is key.
Okay.
Follow reputable scientific journals and news sources.
Right.
Attend seminars and conferences if you can.
Good advice.
And connect with the scientific community both online and offline.
Yeah.
Science is always evolving, so be adaptable and open to new ideas.
That's really important.
It is.
You also mentioned thinking like a detective and engaging with art and literature.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on those suggestions for our listeners?
Thinking like a detective means approaching problems with a sense of inquiry.
Okay.
You look for clues and piece together evidence.
Like a puzzle.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
And engaging with art and literature can broaden your perspective and boost your creativity.
Really?
Art can help you visualize complex concepts in new ways, and literature exposes you to different ways of thinking.
I like that.
Sometimes the inspiration for scientific breakthrough comes from unexpected places.
That's a great way to look at it.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the overall significance of these scientific frontiers?
Okay, so the big takeaway is that these breakthroughs show humanity's drive for knowledge
Yeah,
and our commitment to making the world a better place.
absolutely.
They're driven by curiosity and a desire to solve the biggest challenges facing us.
Right.
These advancements offer a future that's healthier, more sustainable, and more technologically advanced.
That's a really inspiring overview.
I think so.
So for our listeners, as we finish this exploration,
Yeah.
how can they continue to engage with this ongoing scientific adventure?
We encourage you to stay curious.
Of course.
Keep learning about new discoveries
Right.
and support scientific research in ways that you find meaningful.
Great advice.
Nurture your own questions and keep exploring the world with an open mind.
Because the journey of discovery never ends.
It really doesn't.
We're all part of it.
We are.
So on that note,
Yeah.
think about this.
Okay.
How could our increasing ability to manipulate matter at the nanoscale combine with those breakthroughs in renewable energy storage?
Interesting.
Could this lead to energy solutions we haven't even imagined yet?
It's possible.
It's something to think about.
It is.
Until our next deep dive, keep exploring.
Absolutely.